Thank you.
Welcome to Great Greys, your one-stop shop to finding winners across Australia from the world of greyhound racing. Host David Short is joined by Hall of Famer Neil Brown, Jason Campbell to look at Queensland and Tasmanian chasing, Sean Matheson looking at South Australian chasing, New South Wales expert Simon Orchard, and the Shane Train Williams rounds it out with his key plays and kennel mail in WA. Now, over to the team for this week's edition of Great Greys.
And a very good morning, everyone. David Short is off still for another couple of weeks, and we're thinking of the great man this morning. We're about to be joined by Shane Williams as we get into what is going to be a big weekend of greyhound racing here in the West with heats of the Galaxy and also Perth Cup. Before we do, just for those good friends of David Short, and he has been an ornament for our sport, and those that would like to go along and support him, his father, Graham Short's funeral will be held at the Fremantle Cemetery on Carrington Street, Fremantle, 2:30 next Thursday, the 13th of March. So that's 2:30 Carrington Street Cemetery, Fremantle Cemetery, if you would like to go along and support David Short. A good supporter of Shorty's is about to join us right now. Had a winner last night in good time as well, track record. He'd be up and about this morning, the Shane Train. How are you, Shane?
Yeah, good morning, Pete. Good morning, listeners. And, yeah, it was a really good night last night, Pete. And, yeah, it's good to see that little dog get up to Kennington and get the record under her belt. Yeah,
you've kept the greyhound away from Cannington for a period of time, and good to see the track record lowered, a record that was set, I think, back in 2018 from memory.
Yeah, it was just a case of she actually needed a vaccination, Pete, so she had to have a week off from racing, and I just thought in that time we'd go take her up and trial her at Cannington. We've got the Sprinters Plate heats coming up end of April, so she sort of needed to have a look at the track, and I went and trialled her there, and to be honest, she went okay. She went 21.7. I could tell last night that track was quick, going on some times that some dogs were running earlier in the meeting, and I said to someone before the race, if she happened to step on the arm, she'd probably nearly go close to breaking the record. So it wasn't a surprise. It was a quick track, as we know, Pete, and I've actually seen dogs run 21.30 and stuff on trial day, so I don't know how long it'll be around for, but yeah, it's good to have a track record to her name. She's been a real good dog for me and my kennel, and I've got to thank the owner, Ben Damon, a lot for sending her over. So, yeah, very, very proud of her.
You must be excited about the meeting on Saturday night. We've got some good quality greyhounds from the east taking on the best in the west.
Yeah, Pete, it's this time of year for our local trainers to get up and about. It's the only Group 1s we have in the 52 weeks of the year, and unfortunately, my best dog won't be there, but we've still got some good representation, and Box 4, I've gone out to get some blue underwear to get some luck, Pete, for Saturday night.
Well, your team is in good form, and I thought it was a very good training performance by you last week to put Lochinvar Hawk, who you're talking about, over the 600 metres. Your intention was to be able to give him a look on the arm. He did that, and he comes up against some smart types in Boracay Summer and also Smooth Plain, who's made 7 Group 1 finals. But they can box on the outside. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for him, Pete. That's a pretty hard heat, them two dogs you mentioned. But he did go really well last week. He actually surprised me. The first 600 we give him 2 or 3 weeks ago, he sort of only went 35 dead and he got a bit tired. But on Saturday night, he ran some really, really quick splits and obviously got tired again towards the back end, but he'd done the damage mid-race. So we're hoping he can sneak into third, possibly, Pete, and make a consolation. I think that'll be his best chance on Saturday night.
Tab Touch has the all-in market for the Perth Cup. Mapungatully, the favourite at $6. Vincent Bale now into 7. Miss Envy, $7.50. Smooth Plain, $8.50. Barefoot Zulu, 10. Morton is currently at $11. Do you think the winner comes out of those runners that I've just read out?
Yeah, I like Morton's chances on Saturday night. You got to go back to last week. Not many dogs can lead Crumble Manelli, Pete, and he done it pretty easily. Again, he draws outside him. He's got a vacant box on the inside, and you think he's only going to improve off that run. He hadn't had a run for a while, and the camp said that he sort of needed that run, so you think he's only going to come on for that. And is there a price there for Deadly Avenger?
Deadly Avenger, let me have a look here, just took the market down. Deadly Avenger is currently at $13.
Yeah, well, he's a nice pup as well, Pete. He was in the Silver Chief. I seen him firsthand over at the Meadows, and he went up to Brisbane and run the hands off a clock in the heat of the the cup there and had no luck in the final. And all reports he's trialled very, very fast in the last heat on Saturday night.
With unreal speed coming out, it certainly changed the market. Ethanol Water now the favourite at $3.40. Ethanol Water was impressive on Saturday night. Black Silencer with Tab Touch at $7. Groove Bird Passmark at $8, and Max Capacity heads the WA Hopes currently at $9. The winner come from those?
Yeah, I think the mail I got on Ethanol Water was she just doesn't go good at the Meadows. And if you go back and have a look, they're probably right. She's gone to Brisbane and gone really well. Sandown she races really well, and I just don't think she likes the Meadows, Pete. So it was no surprise to see her come here and do that, what she did last week. Although she did get a little bit lucky when that dog fell over, she went from 5th to 3rd in a real quick space of time, but I think she was going to get the job done anyway. But yeah, I think she's hard to beat, and also I think Max Capacity. I've actually got a little ticket there, Pete, with $26 on Max Capacity, so I'll be cheering him home. I think he's the best of the local hopes for sure.
All right, and you'll be joining Jesse Earnshaw and myself tomorrow morning here in the studios of Tab Radio Racing and Sport with chasing winners from 9 o'clock. So looking forward to your thoughts on the 12-race card. Let's turn our attention across to chasing tonight at Cannington. So this Thursday night program, the Mandurah track closed for a couple of weeks. The meeting has been pushed back because of the heat, which is probably not ideal. If it was down at Mandurah, it would have run on the normal time. But 10-race card gets underway now at 7:46. Where's the best of yours come up tonight, please?
Yeah, very warm day today, Pete, so hopefully we can get that meeting to go ahead later on the late start. So I'm going to kick it off tonight. Pete, race 4, number 2, Claire Keeping, and does not have the best win record, this little girl, but nothing in this race really does. I was really impressed with her last start performance where she was runner-up after setting the pace. And I think the 6:54 early split she did last week, that would see her find the top in a race like this. And I do think this looks a bit easier than last week as well. So hard to beat race 4, number 2, Claire Keeping.
All right, so race 4, number 2, the first of Shane Williams' best for tonight at Cannington, and currently quoted at $2.50, already in from $3 on Tab Touch. The second, Shane?
Yeah, race 6, number 2, Nightlighter. This is a dog trained by John Rigetti. He was a brilliant winner first up in the West, Pete. That was 4 runs ago when he drew the one box. Since then, he hasn't had much luck with the draw. He's been drawn out in the car park, and he's much better suited closer to defence. I think he needs to get a good start, which he is capable of, and the dog in 1 is airborne of late, Pete. It's found a bit of a late resurgence late in the career, the Reds, so I think it should be a great clash between them two dragsters, but I'm slightly leaning towards number 2, Nightlighter. All
right, currently at $2.90 with Tab Touch. The next one, Shane?
Yeah, the last one's come up pretty short, Pete. Unfortunately, race 8, number 4, Sunset Worm, was runner-up last week to the Kennel Mate, and its run was full of merit. It found bobber early and got a long way back in the run, but managed to pick his way through the field, and it was a very eye-catching second. So the small field suits as well. Very hard to hold out, but very, very short, Pete. Tomato sauce, $1.45, I think I've seen.
Okay, so they're the 3 tonight, Cannington?
Yeah, they're the 3 I like tonight.
Have you had a look yet at the Friday night program?
I'm just about to do Friday now, Pete. I did go through some of the heats of the Cup and Galaxy, though, if you wanted to.
Well, yeah, I might just touch on a couple of greyhounds. Won't go through all of them because you'll be doing the preview tomorrow morning. But first of all, what did you make of the run of Ethanol Water last week? And we all know how good Paul Stewart is, but it'll take a very good training performance from a greyhound Urbanity in that same heat. That was a maiden just 3 starts ago. First, second go through. Can he pull a master stroke here with Urbanity? And what did you think of Ethanol Water?
Yeah, I think Ethanol Water was outstanding. She's a Group 1 bitch. She's been in 7 or 8 Group 1s. She's probably the top of the pops as the stayers go in the country, Pete. So no surprise to see her at the short price. Urbanity's Paul's got a big opinion of this dog. I know for a fact. We're chatting with him about her in Ireland, and he's set her for this race. So when a trainer like him is confident and sets a dog for a race, you've got to respect that. So gives every thing she wants to run the trip out, Pete. Them run-home times over the 500 and 600 are really good. So should be a good clash. And I thought maybe flaws and sins, if you want to throw in your multiples there, it will love a fast dog to chase that dog. It's a bit of a rogue, but it does like fast ones to chase, so that'll be a play side as well. Do you think West on Booney's close to where he was last year when winning the Galaxy? I don't think he is personally, and I don't think he's had a good preparation. Unfortunately, he's been on the sidelines, and they've sort of rushed him back to get up to this trip. So although this is not one of the deepest heats, he can still run top 2 and probably improve again to the final. But, he was coming off nearly a track record, or was it a track record run last year in the 600? I think it might have been when he stepped up to that 700 last year. So, unfortunately, the whole clan have had nothing but troubles with him with injuries. So, I think past marks are one to beat in that, Pete. It will take benefit off that run last week in the Prelude, and it should come on a fair bit from that run.
And going across the fourth heat, you're talking about max capacity and you've got a live ticket there. What do you think of his chances up against two greyhounds that have made numerous Group 1s in Groove Bird and also Black Silencer?
Yeah, well, I've got to be honest with you. First of all, Pete, when he went up to 700 for the first run, I didn't think he'd run the trip out, and that was the night Flaws and Sins grabbed him on the line. And then second up, you always worry about that second up syndrome, but he went 41.80, and just take that in perspective to Ethanol Water, 41.60. It's not a bad trial. Lewis obviously elected to give him a week off last week off the racing scene, but my mail is he had a very, very, very fast 600-metre trial on Friday. So I'm tipping it's been a good preparation for the dog. And touching on them other two dogs you mentioned, Groove Bird's obviously coming out of the Group 1s in Melbourne, and Black Silence is a very fast dog, but he lacks early speed. So I think max capacity can find himself up on the speed, and if he can run top 2, hopefully that ticket is still alive after Saturday night, Pete.
Winner only goes through in the heats of the Perth Cup. Miss Envy, she's drawn ideally. She's come up short. Steve Shinners was on the Sports Daily yesterday, and he spoke about the fact that she hasn't started since the beginning of the year, so she's been off the scene for a little while. Not the ideal preparation. He said she'll strip fitter going into the final. Does she make the final?
First of all, I like the fact that it's cutthroat, Pete, the Perth Cup, the 8 heat winners. You don't have to worry about times and when water goes on the track to worry about a second or third times and that. So I think it's a great concept this year with the 8 heats. Miss Envy, we know she's all class. She does meet a very reasonable lineup here. There's no disrespect to any of the other runners, but Box 1 as well, throw that in. I think she just gets the job done, and like the connections said, they think she'll strip fitter for the final. So, she should get the job done.
And another one of the Shinners is Transcendent, the little brother who hasn't started since the heats of the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, he's again coming back from a spell. He does like running a place though, but what race is that, Pete?
He's in Moreton.
Yeah, Moreton's race. Yeah. He's but again, nice and fresh. He'll run well, but I think coming into these heats, you really need to be at the top of your game to get through. Like we said, there's no room for error, Pete. There's only winners go through, so it's cutthroat.
And just the last one before we let you go, we'll obviously go through all of these races tomorrow morning on Chasing Winners. Are you a Uncle Tommy or Barbecue Man fan?
I'm not going to be siding with any of them, Pete. Just the fact that Ian Bunny's dog in 6, I think, is going to cause them two dogs havoc. I'm just going to look for something towards the inside. Maybe the Aston dog each way, I might come up with it, but I've got to do the form and a bit more. I just think there's a horrible draw for them two dogs. They're no doubt their class, but unfortunately with that dog that's got speed and wide runner, it's going to cause them a lot of trouble.
We normally see some upsets. It'll be very, very interesting who goes through. The 8 winners of the Group 1 Sky Racing Perth Cup, and those heats get underway with the Galaxy tomorrow evening at 7:07. Thanks for your time, Shane. Good luck with your thoughts on tonight's program. So race 4, number 2, race 6, number 2, and race 8, number 4 from Shane Williams, racing tonight at Cannington with the first now put back to 7:46. Enjoy your day. Stay cool.
Thanks, Pete. You're looking good on Sky Channel this morning too, mate. All the best.
I'm not sure about that. I think I've got a head for radio, but thank you. Shane Williams joining us. Let's go across now to, I think, Matt McDermott's nodding his head here that I've got a head for radio. Jason Campbell's about to join us. He normally talks about Queensland and Hobart, but Jason, let's say good morning to you. We're really thinking about our friends up in Queensland at the moment with that cyclone approaching, and let's hope there's not too much damage and there's no serious injuries up there as well. Good morning.
Good morning, Pete. How you going? It doesn't look too good up there right now, and northern New South Wales as well. So hopefully everyone can stay dry and safe and whatnot. And hopefully, as you mentioned, there's not too much damage after. Hopefully this all passes by quite quickly.
Yeah, it's unusual, isn't it? I think it's 70 years since we've seen a cyclone come this far down on the east coast. And they were thinking, when I was talking to John Brash yesterday, they were thinking it was going to be between Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast. And he's now saying it's going to be closer perhaps to the Gold Coast. So it keeps tending south. And with that in mind, obviously, you've got the New South Wales border, as you mentioned.
Yeah, well, I was just watching the news then, and there was a report at the Surfers Paradise there on the Gold Coast, and looked like there was quite a big swell there. So obviously it's about to get really rough in the next 24 to 48 hours. Hopefully everyone can stay safe.
Do you know how the Q track is going at the moment? Because obviously that, from last report that I had, they were going to start racing there in May. If and we hope it's not, but if Albion Park, which is in a low-lying area, gets flooded, whether they're going to spend the money there to get that track back up and racing only for 1 or 2 months.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to begin trialling very shortly there, so I'm not really sure what they're going to do there. I think from an industry perspective, it'll be good once the queue obviously opens up, and I think that's probably where they'll be aiming. So I guess obviously, hopefully, number one, Albion Park doesn't endure too much damage, but if it does, then I guess Racing Queensland body have a few things to figure out there.
Yeah, well, our thoughts, as I mentioned, with our friends in Queensland over the next few days. Now, Greyhound Racing tonight comes in from Hobart. We've got a 10-race program, first getting underway at 4:34. Invitation race and a free-for-all over the 3:40 later on in the card. Where should we start with your best tonight, please?
Race 4, number 8, Gracie Flyer. She's done a lot of her racing in recent months over the 5:15 at Launceston. She was a winner 2 starts back in fair enough time. I think getting to box 8, her record out of the 8 doesn't read extremely well, but she does like to use the track a little bit. There's a bit of speed underneath her with number 7 Highgate Lass looking the likely leader. I think she can pop over into second, get that nice slingshot across. With those runs over the 500 under her belt, she should be stronger than her late in the piece.
So race 4, number 8, Gracie Flyer, already on tab touch, 340 into $2.90. Where does the second leg come up, Jason?
The following race 5, number 7, Blackpool Trip. This dog has absolutely really, really fast lid speed, especially when he gets it right. And he got it right a couple of starts ago there. He found the front very easily. I think he can do so again here. The dog in box 6, Fun Police, resuming from a break. She's a very hard railer, so there's no reason why Blackpool Trip won't get clear going in that first 10 to 20 metres, which is obviously probably the most important part of any race, especially over this distance. So I think he'll be able to find the arm and be extremely hard to run down.
Okay, and they've already backed Blackpool Trip as well on tab touch, 330 into $2.50. I think you've got another couple of legs for us. Where do we go with the third leg?
Yep, race 7, number 1, Windburn Flyer. A little bit similar, a bit different, to Blackpool Trip. This dog will be back in last probably, but he is a very hard railer. Last start, he drew box 8 off the track, tried to get back to the fence, got back there eventually and run home quite well for 4th. So I think getting to box 1 now is obviously a massive tick for this greyhound. He's got to come out tardy, but don't worry about that, punters. There's a few dogs in this race, particularly the favourite there, Highgate Elsie. She is a bit of a leader chaser, so the field could really bunch up there, and I think Windburn Flyer can potentially get that rails run turning for home and be stronger than all of them late in the piece. And going to the race 9 now, the 3-4 race on the program, number 3, Mr. Fahrenheit. He's been an old marble, this dog. He's had 75 starts, 23 wins, 16 placings. On his last 2 races in top grade company. The main danger in betting is Hyperforce. He's absolutely flying himself, but he has been winning a pretty weak Masters contest. So I think Mr. Fahrenheit has the right form and he's a deserving favourite to hopefully close out the night on a winning note.
All right, so from Jason Campbell at Hobart, race 4, number 8, race 5, number 7, race 7, number 1, and race 9, number 3, the 4 specials for Jason tonight at Hobart. We appreciate that, Jace. Have you looked at the Galaxy or the Perth Cup, and do you keep an eye on our Group 1 racing?
Yeah, no, I've definitely had a look at the field. I think the thing that I noticed first of all was the support from, I guess, the other states. There's dogs representing pretty much every single state. There's dogs from New South Wales, Victoria, obviously, and a few South Australian runners. F&I Water last week was obviously a massive win visually and on the clock too. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes. And obviously there'll be a few WA hopefuls in the Perth Cup for a dog such as Miss Envy, who returns from a bit of a break.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be very, very interesting with a couple of them unknown with their time on the sidelines. And then you've got the Australian Cup form as well. And as you mentioned, New South Wales and some Queensland form as well. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Pete.
Good on you. Jason Campbell joining us, taking a look at Hobart. And as we mentioned, our thoughts are with those up in Queensland. Let's head across to Neil Brown. He'd be up and about at the moment because the Victorians have landed in Perth. We saw Ethanol Water last week was demolished our staying ranks and goes around as a short price favourite in the opening heat of the Galaxy. And we have the Australian Cup winner Mapunga Tully for Jeff Britton across here in Perth as well. Neil Brown, good morning.
Good morning, Peter. Yes, plenty of our polished performers seeking the riches over there in Perth. So a couple of terrific races over the distance and of course, the Perth Cup over the sprint distance. So some great racing coming up for a couple of weeks, Pete.
What can you tell our listeners about the Victorian form? So Mapunga Tully obviously ideally drawn in box number 1. What did you think of the run of Morton last week when narrowly holding off Smooth Plain?
Well, he's, Smooth Plain's a very high-class performer. Morton the same. I think they're in sort of peak form going into the race, so both will perform well, there's no doubt. Big rap for Mapunga Tully. She seems to be an improver, if anything. Great run to hold off Tim Zhu in the final of the Australian Cup, and she's just got that Barry Smith breed polish on her. She's going to be even better, I think. We haven't seen the best of her yet. So, they're going to perform well. They're high class and they've been in this sort of company, haven't they, Pete? That Group 1 company, they're used to racing against the top line dogs. So it makes a difference, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Ethanol Water is currently the favourite on Tab Touch for the Galaxy in the final. Obviously, he has to qualify first, draws box number 8 and was very, very impressive, as I mentioned last week. Do you think Ethanol Water, out of the 4 heats and the Victorians that have come across, is the standout of those or not necessarily?
Oh, I think so, yeah. Her performances have been outstanding and does very little wrong. She's a high-class stayer. Just had that one run over the Australian Cup period in the Fantabar Heats, which was sort of in the invitational night that was uncharacteristic. Other than that, both sides of form are just first class, aren't they? She's a standout performer, no doubt, in my mind, in the staying ranks.
And is there much between Groove, Bird and Black Silencer? They've competed against each other on numerous occasions and they come up in the final heat looking to qualify.
Yeah, probably not too much, Pete. They've been in and around that level and been racing at that level for well over 12 months, those greyhounds. They've been about and in the races. I mean, the numbers of the staying ranks, as we know, aren't that large, and these greyhounds stay in that top echelon of 20 or so performers, don't they, all the time? So they'll perform okay. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
they're in good hands.
They certainly are, and Jeff Britton has the favourite at the moment. Mapunga Tully has drawn box number 1 after winning the Australian Cup last start, and of course he ran second and third with Mapunga Shine and Mapunga Smoky last year behind our dog Uncle Tommy, so he'll be looking to go one better in the series this year. We're talking about greyhound racing in Victoria tonight. The first of 12 gets underway at 4 minutes past 4. Where should we start with our opening best bet, please?
Early quad tonight. Race number 1's a mixed stake over for the 6 and 7 goes over the 5.15. I've got the 3 on top. Very impressive last week. Don Garley Don 29.49. He showed some early speed. I think he's the one to beat. I'm going to take 1 and 6. In the second, 5.95 restricted win. Very open race here. I've gone fairly wide. 2, 3, 5 and 6. I've got Ethanol Secret on top, but I'm not totally convinced. I think it's an open race. The greyhounds only won a maiden and first up here. But we'll see how it goes tonight. But I think it's an open race, plenty of chances. So we'll take 4 in that event, 2, 3, 5, 6. Race number 3, 5.15 grade 5 here. I'm going to take 5, 8 and 6. I've got Shimmer Sand. Probably got to overcome that middle draw, but has got some early pace, can come out. Good effort last week. Has got a 5.04 early section here at Sandown, so I think it looks maybe the leader, but I'm certainly giving chances to 8 and 6. And the final leg of the early quad, race number 4, is a grade 5 over the 5:15. Only taking 3 here, 2, 1 and 3. I've got Phoenix Amelia on top. Good effort last week, beaten under a length, showed some early speed, and certainly in a couple of Meadows wins previous 2 starts, it went very well. So I think it's the greyhound to beat. Moving to the main quaddie, Pete, tonight, a couple of interesting races. Very open first leg, race number 5 over the 5:95. I'm going to take 3 runners, 5, 3 and 8. I've got the 5 on top, Paul Vortex. I think he's the class performer here. Group 1 placing at the Meadows over the Carnival there. I think he's the one to beat. He's best of the night in there as well, and I think we'll put him on top, Paul Vortex. The 3, Shadows of Blue, I think it's a chance. Fast win here in 34 even. And the 8 is a fairly consistent type. Just needs a bit of luck from box number 8. So 5, 3 and 8 in the first league. Race number 6, we've got a 5:95 mix, 3rd and 4th grade here. Good race, plenty of ability amongst these runners. I'm going to take 6, 8 and 1. I've got Poor Yasmin on top. Fast winner here on the 24th of February in 33.94. Gin form, I think it's the one to beat. The 8, Poor Octavia, needs a bit of luck from that box, but just races very well here at CNM, 4 and 1 from 6. I think the 1's well boxed. His special, won 2 of its last 3 here, leading all the way. So we'll take 6, 8 and 1. Third leg, yeah, we've got a 7:15, very interesting affair, wide open, mixed 4th and 5th graders here. Pretty hard race. I'm going to take 7, 1, 3 and 6. Hope we can find it. I'm tipping the 7 on top, double denim. It's big odds. It's 10, 12 to 1 or something. It's in form, can be handy to the lead. I think it's a wide open race. The 1, Galactic Spartan, charges home. It's a chance. I think the 3's a chance. And probably I'm going to throw in the 6 Reiterate as well. Chance with luck in running. So wide open race, 7, 1, 3, 6. Winding the quaddie out, race number 8, free for all over the 5:15. Good race. The winner looks as though it'll come from 1 or 2. They fought it out at the Meadows, and Lakeview Emily is low flying at the moment. The last 2 wins have been exceptional. 29.54 at the Meadows, really go quicker than that on Saturday night. She had 9 wins here on the track at Sandown. I think she looks hard to beat, but she is suitably priced at $1.50. Where's Poppy? Got up for us a couple of weeks ago. Got the 1 draw, well drawn. We'll keep Emily honest. Couldn't beat her on Saturday night, and I don't think she'll do it tonight either. I'm going to throw the 5 in. Ollie Bailey's very honest type, 5 and 12 from 20 here, and he was good last start, and he's never very far away. So pretty tough quaddie. Looking for a best bet, Peter. I've gone all the way to the last, and race number 12 over the 5:15, a grade 5 Aviation. I think is very well drawn. It's around the 245 mark, 250, which is the price we like. It's had box 2 a couple of times at Warrnambool and led all the way, jumping out to the front. So I think it's well boxed tonight. But it has one here in 29.65. Not a lot of depth there when you get to race 12. So we'll tip it as our best bet, race trial number 2 Aviation. So good luck and good punting on an interesting card. And we've got the Horsham Cup tomorrow night at Group 2 level. It's a really good race, plenty of chances here. Poor Utility, Tim Zoo, Flying Zulu all got chance. Leo Bale went good. He's got box number 8. So, yeah, I'm probably leaning to Poor Utility. Went very quick, went the quickest, led all the way, 26.85. And from box number 2, might be able to find the front again. But it is a good find. We've got some class performers in there, Pete.
Yes, so, yes, the favourite Tim Zoo, $2.45, Poor Utility at $5.50 and Flying Zulu at $4.20. Just remind me, Brownie, Samantha Grenfell, is she Graham Bates' granddaughter?
Correct.
Oh, I've got a good memory.
Certainly is. You have. Going well. Graham's still going well, fishing beautifully down there.
Is he?
Which is his favourite pastime. And, I was speaking to him only recently. And, Pete's going, Graham's going very well, Pete. And, yes, Samantha and the kennel continue, both on both sides there. Of course, the other camp isn't far away either. The other granddaughter with the, the name slipped me for the moment.
That's all right. He came over numerous times, didn't he, Graham, to try and win the Perth Cup.
The Gibbons, of course, are closely related to Graham as well, Daniel, and so both camps certainly turned their dogs out in fine style. But Graham loved coming to Perth, didn't he? He won plenty of feature races there and plenty of feature races right around Australia, didn't he? A great association with the Wheeler family.
He certainly did. Daniel and Rebecca Gibbons, the other name you were thinking of. And, he couldn't win a Perth Cup, but the young boy Grenfell came across with Orson Allen about 3 or 4 years ago and won the Cup. So,
Very, very good greyhound.
Very good. Brownie, thanks for your time. How is St Kilda going to go this year?
Oh, please, Pete. I knew you were probably going to throw that in right at the end just to... who knows, Pete, you know?
Well, they'll probably go better than my side.
My plea is do something, boys.
Do something. All right. Good luck.
Looking like bottom 4, Pete, but you never know, do you?
You never know. At least they're playing. That's one thing. Brownie, thanks for your time.
Good on you, Peter. Thanks, mate.
Good on you. Neil Brown joining us and his selections for Sandown tonight. Let's continue on. You're on Great Greys. David Short is off for a couple of more weeks and we're just filling in for him at the moment. And Sean Matheson's about to take a look at greyhound racing in South Australia. And Sean's online right now. How are you, Sean?
Hey, terrific, Pete. Great to be on the show with you again today. Really looking forward to our racing in South Australia tonight at Angle Park. For our Metro meeting, but our focus will be at Murray Bridge on Sunday, where we do run our Group 3 Murray Bridge Cup after we had 7 terrific heats last Sunday night. It's a day meeting on Sunday, so I've got one for the listeners in the Cup when we get to that, but really looking forward to the racing ahead this weekend in South Australia.
All right, well, let's start off tonight at Angle Park. The first of 12 gets underway at 10 minutes past 4. Where should we start with the first of your specials, please?
The first will come up in race 5 tonight, Pete, and it's number 3, A Pillar for Damien Smith. She returned to the racetrack after about 6 weeks off a couple of weeks ago with a strong win from box 8 over the 530 metres, running 30.74. She won our Premier's Cup over the staying trip during our Adelaide Cup Carnival. She's an exciting prospect as she steps up in distance, and she steps up to the 595 tonight. I think she's just going to land midfield. I can't see her being worse than midfield in this race. Umali, who's the other race favourite for this one, probably leads, and it's stepping up in distance. But I just think a Pillar's just going to eat up the ground and will be very, very strong late. So really hard to hold out tonight.
All right, so race 5, number 3, the second leg?
The second comes up in the next race, and it's race 6, number 4, Zinfandel Party for Shirley Barber. Zinfandel Party's been running against really strong opposition. Her form on paper doesn't look great. But it's been against, she was in a heat of the Murray Bridge Cup last start. She's raced against Umali and He's Magic of late. Comes back to Angle Park after a couple of runs at Murray Bridge. She's a feature race winner here. Drawn box 4, should get a nice run across around that $3.20 quote. Nice run across. Centerwick probably looks to lead here. Just sits on speed. And again, just going to get that run late and be hopefully too strong.
All right, so race 5, number 3, race 6, number 4, and they're good odds at the moment, $3.30 about Zinfandel Party. Have we got another one?
We've got one more for the listeners, and it's a bit of an each-way play, and it's in race 8. It's number 3, Kai Kai. Now, we tipped her with you, Pete, last week on the show, and she was able to get the job done as the favourite. She steps up in class here into mixed 3-4 company, but She loves the rail and she's got a bit of early speed. So I think she can cross the 2 on her inside, get to the rail, and from there she does her best work. She's quoted around, $15.
$21 on 21 we've got now with Tab Touch.
21. So love her to get out a little bit more. I just feel she can cross the inside 2, Pete. She ran 30.51 last week, which was probably her best time and how far she can go.
Yep.
But that'll put her right in the race here. And on the rail, she'll be out of trouble doing her own thing, and she can, cause an upset, but definitely run top 3.
All right, so that is a nice price. Currently, it has drifted $11 out to $21. They've backed number 8 of 5 from $2.80 into $2.50. So race 5, number 3, race 6, number 4, and race 8, number 3. Get that $21 now, punters. $3.80 the place from Sean Matheson tonight at Angle Park. You mentioned the Murray Bridge Cup, and I think we've got Gawler racing tomorrow as well. Anything at Gawler?
Yeah, so just one at Gawler for the listeners, Pete. Tomorrow, race 8, number 7, My Rusty Halo for Kevin Bewley. In a rich vein of form, won her last 2 starts. She should have enough speed here over the 400 metres to lead and win. She will be favourite. She shouldn't be, hopefully not too short, but definitely she'll be a short price favourite. And then Murray Bridge on Sunday, as I said, Pete, it's a day meeting for our Group 3 event. We have the first 2 races on the program are on the straight track, and then we're on the 1 turn for the next 9 races, and the Cup's in race 8. The Cup's a wonderful race. I feel like there's going to be a fair old push to the first turn, and we'll be hopefully getting number 2 Born Model for Dave Peckham. Should be at some nice odds. Just to stay out of trouble on the inside, either lead or push up, because I think the 1 Dakota Ava will show some speed, and just stay out of trouble on the rail and hopefully get clear running as they turn for home, and hopefully at good odds can get the money for Dave Peckham, who's a wonderful supporter of Murray Bridge. They reside at Mount Gambier, so it'd be nice to see him get a feature race win.
Certainly would. So that's in the Murray Bridge Cup, a Group 3 race coming up on Sunday, and it comes up 11:58, just prior to 12 o'clock here on TAB Radio in Western Australia. I noticed Tim Aloisi, who trains in South Australia, he's got a couple of greyhounds that have come across just for my benefit and for our listeners as well this morning. The greyhounds that are now in his care, are they South Australian greyhounds or are they Victorians?
So Tim owns them. So, as we know, Tim, he's very astute with the greyhounds that he purchases. He doesn't always train them, but he's got Black Silencer, who has been running around in Queensland in the Group 1 and also the Sale Cup Group 1, running places in both of those. They were with interstate trainers, but I see Tim has definitely got Black Silencer in his name. I expect, Peter, he'll be very, very hard to beat in your heat on Saturday night. And the other one that's a new one into his kennel, it's first up for him, and I think they just purchased it.
In for rock?
It's got it's got won 3 of its last 4 in Victoria.
Okay.
Tight in the market. I would expect it to go well, but I haven't seen it here in South Australia, so I'm not sure. But Tim does know what he's doing with a very small team. As I said, he's very astute with the dogs that he purchases, and no doubt he's travelling across there because he feels like he's got a shot at your Group 1. Yeah,
so he's based in South Australia and just north of Adelaide?
Yes, he is, yeah. Out in the sort of 2 Wells, Lewiston region. And small team, a wonderful strike rate.
Is that the Barossa? For someone naive like me?
No.
Not really?
No, it's not really that into that area. It's more, about 70% of our participants are 2 Wells, Lewiston, which is an hour out of Gawler, but north. The Barossa sort of heads a little bit the other... It's still north, but a little bit the other way.
All right, towards the west. Yeah.
Yes.
I did go out over there when I was in Adelaide last year. It's a beautiful spot. Some nice wines, as you probably know. Sean,
yes, most definitely.
Thanks for your time, and good luck with your thoughts tonight at Angle Park and also over the weekend with the Murray Bridge Cup.
Yeah, terrific, Peter. Thanks for your time as always.
Good on you. Sean Matheson joining us, and some information there in regards to Timmy Aloisi, who's got Infrarock and also Black Silencer, and Black Silencer's made 4 Group 1s, ran second in the Bold Trees last year, the Sale Cup, and recently in the Queensland Gold Cup as well. Ran 4th in the Zoom Top last start, so he'll be an interesting runner in the 4th heat of the Galaxy. Simon Orchard's about to join us from New South Wales. Simon, as I say, good morning to you. How far north of New South Wales do you live, and has the wind started to pick up where you are?
Yeah, good afternoon, Pete. Mate, I'm in Newcastle, only 2 hours north of Sydney, so thankfully I'm not really near the epicentre of what's happening, but we have got Casino called off today. We've jumped ahead of the curve and made sure that Casino is off. It's right up there in the Northern Rivers, so our thoughts with everyone in the north of the state. If you are in some strife, we should put it out there. Give us a call at GRNSW and hopefully we can try and help. I know we've done this in the past, Pete, with a bunch of different natural disasters that have happened, whether it be bushfires or flooding, but we do have kennels around the state, hopefully, available to help. So if there is any issues in the north of the state, please let us know. But Casino is off, mate. Important to know that there's no racing there today.
Okay, anything from tomorrow at this early stage that's going to be called off?
Not at this stage, but stick to thedogs.com.au. That's where you can find all the information. The social's the first place that we put up all our abandoned meetings. Obviously, we've seen Albion Park in the last couple of days as well, but Casino at the moment off today. Tomorrow we've got racing Goulburn, at the Gardens, Wagga and Richmond, so hopefully they'll avoid any of the carnage, and then we head forward to Saturday again. Nothing in the north of the state. Muswellbrook and the Gardens probably the furthest north on Saturday, so hopefully, fingers crossed, the weather doesn't travel too far south and we can get some good racing in over the next couple of days.
I'm sure you'll be keeping a close eye on Cannington on Saturday night. We have 4 heats of the Galaxy and 8 heats of the Perth Cup, and it's good to see some New South Wales greyhounds coming across. I just want to get into your brain a little bit on a couple of them. Might Have Been goes around the heat of a Galaxy. Interesting run. Ran third, I remember, in Adelaide last year in the national sprint and won the Dapto middle distance, but from my records hasn't stepped up over the 7.15. I know the mum, Poco Dorado, loved the 7.15. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The litter have got a range of good sprinters and good stayers. Might Have Been broke the record at Dapto over the 600. So I'll tell you what, if anyone's going to know, it's Minnie Finn. She's a master at getting these greyhounds ready. She, of course, trained the mother, Poco Dorado. But you have a look through the litter, you've got a lot of variability, I guess, and have raced over a bunch of different trips. But Might Have Been, you're spot on, Pete. Hasn't raced over 700 before. Hasn't raced over 700 for the best part of a year. I think last year went through the final of the 7.15 from memory behind Valpolicella, and that was the only time in its racing career that it's been over the trip. So it made the final of the 7.15, but the 7.15 at the Gardens, I'm not going to say an easy staying trip, but certainly not the toughest staying trip there is. Apart from that, it's only had 3 runs over the distance. So I guess there is a query there, but I'm not going to doubt Minnie Finn, a dog that's won 15 races and $180,000 in prize money. If she thinks it can run it, and I trust her.
And she also brings across both Bowers Ace, drawn well. A greyhound that's made numerous Group 2 finals.
I tell you what, you look up consistency in the record books, Pete, and you're going to find a picture of both Bowers 8. I think last time I checked, it was about 80-odd starts and has won or placed in 64 or 65 of them from memory off the top of my head. So it's a remarkable record for a dog that probably doesn't win enough, considering how many times he's in the race. He was a Group 2 Gosford Cup runner-up earlier this year behind Gets Late Early, ran in the Richmond Derby final behind Finesse just last week, was in the Now Puppy Classic last year as well as the Richmond Derby final last year. So it's a dog that's always thereabouts. Probably lacks, I guess, that real X-factor and brilliance of a lot of our best sprinters, but as a dog that's always going to run you a race. And from box 1, certainly a dog that I reckon can produce over there in Perth. And Minnie has had a good relationship with a couple of the Perth trainers, and I'd be surprised if both dogs aren't wound up and ready to go come Saturday night.
All right. Do you know much about Popstar, who's now joining the care of Kai Lewicki over here in WA, comes up in the 4th heat of the Perth Cup and draws box number 1?
Yeah, Popstar, I tell you what, Perth listeners will like her, a daughter of Tommy Shelby. Pretty lightly raced, only 14 starts, but 4 wins and 7 minors. And look, the times haven't really jumped off the page over 500. I think a PB of just under 30, which came in the back end of last year down at Nowra. So Wenty Park time, off the top of my head, Pete, I don't think has broken 30, Popstar. But a greyhound that, again, drawn well in box 1, is going to get a good race. And last 2 starts has run behind Honk Honk, a 3rd placing, and then actually beat Honk Honk, who's one of the rising stars of the New South Wales sprinting scene at the moment with 6 wins from 12 starts. So there is some good form around Pop's Star. Interested to see how she goes over in the West.
And have you seen Barefoot Zulu? I know he does most of his racing in Queensland, but from my investigations, holds a track record at Grafton.
Yeah, you're spot on. Barefoot Zulu, burst onto the scene, really, during the Grafton Maiden Series last year. Was trained by Steve Keep. You're right, broke the track record at Grafton over the 450. And then didn't go off the rails, but had a couple of goes at Maitland through the Maitland Cup, went through the Maitland Series of the $1 Million Chase, and then I think had one Failed effort down in Victoria in the Warragul Cup heats. Went down there with John Thompson. Didn't really have the best of luck and has since raced in Queensland. But you're spot on. The last 3 starts, all pretty good wins, and a dog with an immense motor. Just needs a bit of luck. Not the best out of the boxes. I know box 2 for Barefoot Zulu on Saturday is probably going to help. But once he gets up and going, he's got a motor. And you're right, track record holder at Grafton over the 450, nothing to be sneezed at. And the dog with immense talent, Pete.
Yeah, looking forward to the heats on Saturday night. Of course, the 8 winners go through to the Group 1 final the following week, and the first and second from the 4 heats of the Galaxy. Now, we better get you on to talk about some winners tonight at hopefully Wentworth Park. The first of 11 gets underway just before 4 o'clock WA time.
Yeah, best bet tonight at Wenty, 4-2, Jungle Ace. Getting a little bit short now for Jack Smith, but a greyhound that came back from, I think it was 4 months off the scene, over 500 last start, hit the line really well, exactly what you're looking for a dog that's stepping up in trip, and just a matter of fitness, Pete, to be honest. She doesn't meet an overly strong field, but race 4, number 2, Jungle Ace, I think is the best bet on the program at Wenty Park tonight. If you want to play at Dapto, 6'8", Gypsy Rico, track and trip specialist, 26 starts, over the 300 at Dapto for 10 wins, 6 minors. Favourite at the moment. I think she can get a nice run out wide. So that's Dapto 6'8", Wenty Park 4'2". And a couple to watch tomorrow, Saturday night, at Dubbo. We've got the Country Classic heat going off out there. Kenya All Class, the Star Victorian Group 1 winner, who's won 17 of 31, goes in race 8, number 4. Very excited to see Kenya All Class go around. I think a couple of key scratchings. It'll be a pretty short price now, but still a really good greyhound coming up for the Country Classic Series. And 10-2 at Dapto on Saturday, Last Straw, runs into Hope's Treasure, who beat at home last start. But I think Hope's Treasure flew out. That was a bit of an anomaly. I think Last Straw can hold the inside rail from box number 2, and 10-2 Last Straw. Best bet, Dubbo, Saturday night.
What's the prize money at Dubbo for Jessica Hopkins? And it's interesting, Kenya All Class is the first greyhound that's been locked away in our Sandgroper by Mintbet, have locked Kenya All Class away. And the other greyhound just named this week by Sportsbet is Miss Envy, has been locked away. So 2 of the 8 slots have been locked away. But, yeah, so the Victorian heads to Dubbo. What's the prize money?
Yeah, $100,000 for the Country Classic. Okay. So the heat at Dubbo this weekend, all the heats have been running this week, Pete. So we had Nowra on Monday, Gosford Tuesday, Richmond last night, Dapto tonight, Gardens tomorrow. The semi-finals are next Saturday, and then the final the following Saturday is worth $100,000. So if Kenya All Class gets through in the top 4, which I'm assuming will happen on Saturday night, goes to the semis, and then the final worth $100,000 in just over 2 weeks out there at Dubbo. So looking forward to that. We need as much talent as we can get. Jungle Johnny, I think, current favourite at around about $3 for the series, but Kenya All Class on the second line of betting.
Beautiful. Thanks, Simon, for your time this morning.
Have a great afternoon. Hooroo.
Good on you. Simon Orchard taking a look at racing around the country in New South Wales, Wentworth Park, Dapto, Dubbo. Not sure how far Dubbo is from Sydney. Matt McDermott will help me.
It's a few hours.
Yeah.
5 or 6 at a guess.
North?
No, it's west.
West. There you go. I've got to get to New South Wales, have a look around. I've been to Sydney, and that's about as far as I've been. Manly.
That's all you want to see.
Bondi.
Manly, I was there in the New Year.
Where?
Yeah.
It's a good spot.
It is.
Yeah, really like it. Let's turn our attention across this Saturday night program as we wrap up Great Greys, Matt. And we've got, as I mentioned, 4 heats of the Galaxy and 8 heats of the Group 1 Sky Racing Perth Cup. And take note that Tab Touch has all of the markets up, including for every race, and they've also got the final market up as well. In the final, Mapunga Tully currently at $6, Vincent Bale $7, and Miss Envy at $7.50, Smooth Plain at $8.50. So if you think your runners can qualify this week, you might be able to get some early prices there. And in the Galaxy, Ethanol Waters currently at $3.50, Black Silencer $7, Groove Bird and Passmark both at $8. That's for the final of the Galaxy. So we'll go through this in more detail tomorrow morning on Chasing Winners, but just my early thoughts on the program. It's a really good card, and there's some interesting races because some greyhounds are coming back from injury. We've had a couple of greyhounds that have come across from the eastern states now. We saw Ethanol Water in the opening heat on Saturday night go around last week for Tom Daly. She's a flying machine. She won the Bold Trease last year. She also took out the Gold Cup. She's made 7 Group 1 finals and has won in excess of $354,000. What we saw last week and the fact that she was able to negotiate her way through the field, she missed the fall, and just her brain got her to win by 9 lengths over Flaws and Sins. I think she'll be winning, although there's a big watch on Urbanity, who's an interesting runner for Paul Stewart. Greyhound who's only had 6 career starts, has not run over the 7:15 yet, won a maiden 3 starts ago. It'll be a remarkable training performance if Paul can qualify her for the final. So 3 starts ago, she won a maiden. At her 4th start, after running 3 consecutive seconds at her first 3, she went 29.66, then 29.49 the following week from box 1. She won by 13 lengths, and then she went 34.50 over the 600 metres at her first try back on the 1st of February. Paul's kept her away from the track and will have her fit as a fiddle going into the heat on Saturday night. Second heat of the Galaxy. I think Weston Burney can bounce back. This greyhound won the Galaxy last year. He's had some injury concerns, I know, since winning the WA Distance Championship late last year and going across to Adelaide. Has had 4 or 5 runs back from a lengthy spell, and a greyhound who won a free-for-all going back 3 starts ago, then ran 3rd behind Ethanol Water last start. Got some checks through running. I think that he's getting fitter. He'll be fitter into the final, but obviously he needs to qualify. I think In for Rock for Tim Eloise and Pass Mark for Jeff Britton, 2 Eastern States chasers, will be the hardest to beat in that heat. The third heat of the Galaxy, Chloe Ant, WA chaser for Enzo Crudelli. She's won 6 of 18 over the trip. She was the last start winner. She probably needs to go a little bit quicker than what she has been going, but I think the track, as we saw last night, will be quick, and I think that she can lead and win. I think the hardest to beat will be this greyhound from New South Wales, might have been for Minnie Finn, a greyhound who hasn't raced over the distance for a while, steps up over this trip, and her mum, Poco Dorado, was a star over the 700 metres, so might have been, I'm tipping, in for second. The final heat to qualify for the Galaxy is race number 4, and this is an excellent race. Black Silencers made 4 Group 1 finals, ran 2nd in the Bold Trees and also the Sail Cup and the Gold Cup, ran 4th in the Zoom Top. Star performers, won over $200,000 in stake money, and I think we'll be fighting out the finish with another Victorian in Groove Bird, a greyhound who's also made 6 Group 1 finals, including the Gold Cup, the Zoom Top, when finishing 2nd in that, and then ran unplaced in the Vanderbilt behind Unreal Speed last start, and I think she can fight out the finish. So then we go across to the Perth Cup, and this is where it's interesting. The WA Greyhound of the Year, Miss Envy, is a greyhound who hasn't been seen at the track since the 2nd of January when coming back from Queensland. She was beaten by her sister La Sagrada over in Queensland, and then she had an injury when she went, I think it was to New South Wales. Steve Shinners spoke for Crystal yesterday on the Sports Daily and mentioned that she will strip fitter from her heat, but she into the final, but she obviously needs to qualify first up. The fact that she hasn't been to the racetrack for some time, she has been trialling well. I think there is a question mark. She'll be a short price favourite. She should be winning, but if there is any sort of chink in her armour, then maybe a greyhound like Bagnaia or Sunset Hornet can cause an upset, but she should be going through. It's not the strongest of heats. The second of the heats, Mapunga Tully, won the Australian Cup last start. Also the Greyhound Clubs Australia Greyhound of the Month for February, ran 2nd the Maturity. She's made 3 Group 1 finals. She's won over $400,000 in stake money. She's won her last 3, and she's a flying machine. She'll be the one to beat. Rapido Jedi did go a very quick time last start, 29.51 from an inside draw if there was to be any upset. The third heat of the Perth Cup winner goes through, obviously, and Morton was able to return to WA last week. The connections, Jason Sharp sent him across early for him to settle back into WA in the care of Steve Withers, of course, being the son of Tommy Shelby, and he was very good. He held off Smooth Plain in a very tight finish last Saturday night at Cannington, ran 3rd in the Sandgroper and also ran 2nd in the Adelaide Cup, won the Gold Bullion back in 24, won over $600,000 in stake money. So I think he'll win. Aston Bollinger, there's speed from Crumble Manelli, and Transcendence, an interesting runner, the litter brother to Miss Envy, and hasn't been seen since running 2nd in a a heat of the Melbourne Cup back in November. The next of the heats is race number 8. It's the 4th heat of the Perth Cup, and Barbecue Man and last year's winner Uncle Tommy, they're drawn alongside each other. Fancy that Fred likes to use a bit of the track, as we've heard. I think these greyhounds are in a position to be able to hold Fancy that Fred in a line. Uncle Tommy does have early speed, and I think Barbecue Man, who's won 3 of 5 from box number 8, can get across. Won the Birthday Cup Group 2 over the 400. This greyhound, I think, is one of the best in WA. He just needs some luck, and I'd love to see him through to the final. That's race number 8. Race number 9, 5th heat of the Perth Cup, and this is an interesting race because Smooth Plain flew home last start, was narrowly defeated by Morton. I thought he'd got up. He ran second in the National Sprint Final, also ran second in the Ipswich Cup, second in the Phoenix behind Explicit, and in the Golden Ticket as well. So he's a very, very talented chaser. Had a look at the track, which is important. Has only won 1 of 8 from box number 8, which is my question mark. And I think Boracay Summer can lead from box number 1. She's undefeated in both starts over the trip. She's won over the 600 metres, so we know she's strong. I think if she's in front of Smooth Plain, even though he is very, very talented, I think she can cause an upset. So race 9, number 1, Boracay Summer. Race number 10, Barefoot Zulu. I'm on this wrap of this greyhound. Grafton track record, Ipswich track record. He's won his last 3. They don't come across from Queensland unless they've got ability. And this son of Seneki, I think, can hold out Wise Barra and Kachis Attitude. La Sagrada's an interesting runner in the race as well. Greyhound that hasn't had the ideal preparation, but was a winner last start from box number 1. Race 11, second last chance to qualify. Vincent Bale, likely to start a short price favourite. Very talented, has made 4 Group 1 finals. Ran second in the Gold Bullion, ran third in the Australian Cup final, third in the Maturity, ran second in the shootout behind the WA-owned Big Energy, and won the Cranbourne Cup at Group 2 level. This greyhound's won over $260,000. Trialled last week. Time was okay, 29.72. The track will be quicker on Saturday from box 1, where he's got a good record. I think he wins. Maybe Action Shot and Shy Emoji if there was anything for the multis there, and or novelties. And the final one is race number 12 and box number 5, and box number 5 is vacant, and I've gone with Deadly Avenger, now in the care of Steve Withers, another of the son of Tommy Shelby, sent back to Perth for this series, ran second in the Silver Chief, and then was unplaced in the Australian Cup final last start. Very, very talented chaser, obviously. He's won some good prize money. He's won 10 of 27. Both Bowers Ace. There's a good push for Minnie Finn's greyhound from box number 1. I think the two of them can fight out the finish. So winner goes through in the 8 heats of the Perth Cup, Matt, and first and second in the 2 heats of the Galaxy. So looking forward to the series on Saturday night.
Yep, can't wait for that. And you just almost nearly got to 11 o'clock too.
I did well, didn't I?
I thought you were going to struggle for a while there.
Oh, we made it. We tried our best. What did you think of what do you think of the rugby league and our boys, Parramatta, this year?
God. Our star halfback's out for 6 weeks, announced this morning, so we're just picking up where we've left the last 2 years with multiple injuries. Gone before it's even begun.
Thanks. I was having a bad day as it was, and you've just made it now.
I know. Well, join the club.
All right. I'll leave it with you, and looking forward to race day today, and looking forward to a big weekend of greyhound racing.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.